his name. They waited 2,000 years for this. They waited 2,000 years for this. You ain't gotta look at no pain, nigga. I'm right here. Let's go. So who's your favorite prophet? Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad. Maybe Confucius, Haile Selassie, Ja Rastafari. It's a ribbon in the sky for our love. Rest in peace, takeoffs and white doves. It's still all love for my people. If we can learn how to see each other as equal. If I can learn to drop my pride and tell you I need you. If I can put you above me, not try to keep you underneath me and leave you. Nobody knows about the evil that we do, so stop judging other people and do what we need to. For real, I just seen a kid killed for $1 bill. In the ghetto gave me chills, man, this shit is real.
Oh my God, it's so cozy.
In the final hour of the final day, the Mahdi will appear. I'm here. It's the age of Aquarius, cyborgs and AI experiments, zombies and matrix and pyramids, Nazis calling themselves Americans. I'm a descendant of the Mediterranean. I'm a millennial nigga and I'm an alien. Really ain't no debating it, really ain't no escaping it. Really I just been patiently waiting and putting faith in it. Opened up the paper, put an H in it and I'm facing it. Yeah, swag is organic, really ain't no replacing it. Take another shot of reality, some mushrooms to chase the shit. Love the goddess, but I hate the bitch. Intergalactic, interconnected with the internet in my head, inner spaceship. You already know what time it's the age of Aquarius, cyborgs and AI experiments, zombies and matrix and pyramids, Nazis calling themselves Americans. It's the age of Aquarius, cyborgs and AI experiments, zombies and matrix and pyramids, Nazis calling themselves Americans. I'm dying a prophet, I feel like Muhammad, alhamdulillah, they gon' die about them dollars. I feel like a scholar, I wrote the blue Bible. All these tattoos on my chest like I'm tribal. We feel the water, the rain, and the fire, and salt in the Moorish Empire. We murder for hire, Assassin's Creed. My niggas higher than gasoline. Why they still rapping about fucking and earning? The streets be corrupted by Russians and Germans. We in the cut, just studying and learning the lessons of God. I lie in the person, I take it personal. Trips out to Portugal, Barcelona. Call me King El, that's my new persona. King El, Allah, El Elyon. It's the age of Aquarius, cyborgs and AI experiments, zombies and matrix and pyramids, Nazis calling themselves Americans. It's the age of Aquarius, cyborgs and AI experiments, zombies and matrix and pyramids, Nazis calling themselves Americans.
Peace.
Mallah-Divine
presenting Crip Jesus. This gonna be
Peace to God.
Jesus. You know,
Yes,
it's been a
sir.
long time coming, at least about a year. We've been trying to get this interview going on between us. I know y'all seen the brother all over YouTube doing his thing, doing his music and all that. But here today, we try and get to know a little bit more about him. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's the guy, you feel what I'm saying, King El Allah, of the Love Allah Cipher, you feel what I'm saying, better known as Crip Jesus, you feel what I'm saying, the blue God, the true God. Not the blue God, the gangbang, but actually bring light. You know what I mean? A lot of time we like to think of anything beyond, you know, our five senses as being deep and, you know, of this esoteric. So I kind of, you know, I feed that to our people, you know, the blue light, you feel what I'm saying, like the Blue Lodge or, you know what I mean, the guy, you know, Jesus, you know what I mean, the higher degrees and all that, you know what I'm saying, get the real degrees, 120 degrees, you feel what I'm saying? So, you know, I come in the name of Allah, you know what I mean, that's really the juxtapose of my name, you know what I mean? You see Crip Jesus, but you see me dressed like what you think is a Muslim, but then you find out I'm God bodies, just like today's degree, you feel what I'm saying, wisdom knowledge degree, the 1 through 36, you feel what I'm saying? Do you mean to say 17 million don't know that they are Muslims? I mean, not so much in the sense of let's go, you know, bow down and do what the Arabs do. You know what I mean? It's that history to us. You know, a lot of people know I deal with the Moorish science, but not on the level of like, you know, the Prophet Noah Drelly said this, Prophet Noah Drelly said this. Nah, it's just dealing with my legacy, even with my own grandfather who was of the Blue Lodge, 33rd degree Mason himself. He the one revealed to me that our family was Gullah Geechee. So
You know what I mean? My name really plays into all those factors, you feel what I'm saying? Because a Crip, etymologically, they want to go into the gang factor. Yeah, I'm from 40 Crip. Yeah, I grew up right there. But etymologically, a crypt is something that's dead that's being waiting to be awakened. You feel what I'm saying? So, it ain't just one of our ancestors that's just in a grave and a hole in the ground. This is the ones in the mausoleum. These are the ones that's got the shrines. These are the ones that, their DNA lives through us strong. We wait to resurrect them. So that's what I feel like I did with the Blue Bible. You feel what I'm saying? I go back to brothers like Al Hakim in Africa that was declared Allah in the flesh. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I'm about. You know what I mean? Bringing light to even Jesus being, according to the Quran, Isa, a descendant of the Bani Amran tribe, which is the 18th dynasty of Egypt, that's dealing with Tut, and you know what I mean. So my name, that's what that, you know what I mean. That's what I break down in the book. I'm of the lost tribe of Jesus. The gods, you feel what I'm saying? Those
True
that was
indeed.
declared the gods in the flesh.
So
You know what I'm saying?
before we get all into that, right? Share something about your early history, cause I don't like where you from, how you grew up, for they can see the development of what became Crip Jesus.
So I grew up in Leimert Park, which is like, it's like a legendary section in LA. If you was visiting from out of town, you'd be like, oh man, it's nice over here, man. But that's because everybody thinks of Leimert Park is the actual park. That's the park. And it's a very culturally black park. It's probably the only culturally black park. Even the 6-0s, Nipsey, rest in peace, shout out, but they didn't even have no culturally black park over there in the 60s. They got a gangbanging park. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's 6-0s over there. So in the 40s, we got that too. It's called Vermont Square Park. So this is just in the 40s as far as it's in our area. But everybody be up there because it's right on Crenshaw and Vernon in our section of Crenshaw. And it's been culturally, historical, like jazz jazz studios, art museums there, a lot of cafes, a lot of African workshops and clothing stores and just even different stores for selling different foods and healthcare products and elements and just so much, man. Even the restaurants there, black owned, all around that little section of that park, Leimert Park. I grew up in the actual neighborhood of Leimert Park. That it's a neighborhood around it, like where they filmed Baby Boy or Moesha, or they were shooting in the air, Boys in the Hood. So that's the Crip part of it. That's the part that was dead that had to be reawakened. That's when I learned from my mother, the Crip walk, or learned from my brother, watching him getting shot up by the Bloods, or me even getting chased out the Bloods area. Like I break down the Blue Bible, the Crips. You feel what I'm saying? I never even knew about Raymond Washington. It's funny when you go out of town, dudes be having the literature and they be talking about this and that, and we doing this in the name of the Black Panthers and all that. I'm like, man, we didn't learn about none of that when I was growing up. Maybe some of the homies now because they got the Google or something, but we didn't learn about none of that when I was growing up. I found out about all that later. And I talk about how the first chapter, I talk about how, the Pop Smoke was murdered by Crips. P&B Rock was murdered by Crips. Biggie was murdered by Crips. Well, I don't know about Biggie, but you know what I'm saying? Tupac, I meant to say, was murdered by Crips. Like, we can do this list on and on and on. You feel what I'm saying? And what that all spelled out to me was the spirit of death amongst us. But what I realized was through my journey that Allah seen her and her in all worlds, even in my world. Even with me in prison, a Crip, you know what I'm saying, doing 14 years, the whole stereotype, South Central, you know what I mean? I was, had knowledge of self and was teaching, and had other, fruit that came from the same ciphers as me with knowledge of self that was teaching. So that was the Jesus aspect that we was bringing the truth to the lost and found. He was teaching them that ye are gods. You feel what I'm saying? Like I say in, the book of John, chapter 10, verse 30 to 33. You want to stone me for saying I'm the son of God when it says in your book that ye are gods. You feel what I'm saying? You'll do works greater than me. We the gods. You feel what I'm saying? So that was the science that they wanted to kill them for. That was the same thing I experienced. You know what I mean? So going from just growing up in the area, I started getting in trouble with everyone. When I caught the case, I was a teenager. When I caught my first big case, and I ended up doing 14 years. So that's where, everything kind of developed into what you see now in front of you.
So during them 14 years, do you feel like that was a transformation? Let me share this with you first. Are you familiar with Nikki Giovanni?
Yeah.
So she have a poet. It's called The Two James, right? And then she has a stanza in that poem that says, "From cells you are born, and from iron cells you are reborn."
Mm.
Right? And I came across that I was like 20 years old, because unfortunately I did like 19 and a half years in prison myself. So, so I know about the transformation when we
Mm-hmm.
on the inside, right? Because, outside we moving at the speed of light. Inside we moving at the speed of sound. So we get to be able to be still a little bit more, look, listen, observe and respect. And
Where's Bond?
and most things we respect is other people's way of thinking, right? So that allow you to really have a discourse with different people. Like I was down in Virginia. So being from New York down to Virginia, Virginia have people from almost everywhere in the United States, because they got black colleges, they got military bases, they have and I-95 was and everything on I-95 was a big part of the drug trade at one time. It probably
Mm-hmm.
still is, but I ain't in the street, so I can't really speak
Mm-hmm.
on the now, right? So coming from a Crip background, how did you even consider getting knowledge yourself? Like what did that look like?
So, what I mean? I talk about it in my book. The year was knowledge, knowledge. Wisdom cipher, knowledge, knowledge. However, let's go deeper. So, my old earth returned to earth. I mean, my old earth returned to the essence. You feel what I'm saying? I get emotional even thinking about it. And cipher build. You feel what I'm saying? So when she returned and cipher build, you know what I mean? That's the first thing that nudged me into just trying to understand. You know what I mean? Because coming from just a purely 85 lost and maybe even religious type understanding, it was like I felt cursed. You feel me? To get 14 years and just be entering prison, and now my mom returned, and I hadn't even spoke to her in wisdom years. And when I did speak to her, she was on drugs and all that, so I just couldn't cope with it. But I was in a situation where looking back, God, divine timing, mathematics is everything right and exact, because let's imagine I was on the street and would have been, really hurt or just wilding out, doing drugs or, getting the cracking. So instead, I'm in prison and, I got to stay, strong. So I search for understanding. You feel what I'm saying? So understanding starts with knowledge, God. You feel me? So I just started getting knowledge on top of knowledge. I was ready to debate everybody. I was ready to say God don't exist. I was ready to say God do exist. I was ready just to be antagonistic and mad. I was just, mad about the death and just wanted to understand it. So that knowledge turned into wisdom. I start, living different, start eating different. But that was because it made me stop looking at all the trauma and all the drama that went into my old earth's return and going into what she wanted me to actually be back when I was young, when she used to make me read, when she took herself back to school and was bringing the books home and telling me about different things, when she told me one of her friends was in the NOI and she heard about somebody named Yakub and it sounded crazy. What do I think? When she told me that the serpent is real, or when she told me, it's just all that came back to me, all the positive, right? All the light, God. Everything that was moving at the speed of light on the street that I didn't have time to really deal with. I was in prison, like you said, moving at the speed of sound. So at 1,120 miles, 1,120 feet per second, I could really take the time to hear it and play back in my head. All them things I saw that was light out there that she was giving me, that I was too young and it was fast, it was planted like seeds. So now it was growing and hatching. And it was becoming thoughts. So I'm like, ooh, 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 ooh. So that's just becoming wisdom now, right? I start growing my beard, all that. It start becoming my wise words, my wise actions. But when I wanted to actually see it, they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I ordered a book called God's Earth's 85ers. And for me having that book in my collection, a homie from 30 Crip that was studying with the guys, I didn't know they had guys at this prison, see me with it and said, "Oh, you into that?" He said, "I got something you're going to be into. Come to this class." And that was my first introduction to the guys there at Salinas Valley, 2011. And I'm not going to lie, I was so much of a studier. At first, I'm like, oh, these dudes that kind of made this up or whatever. It was when they kept confirming everything I studied on the Egyptian tree of life, the Buddhists with the yogi year, the 25,000 year cycle, the science I learned from with my mom when she went back to school for biology and all that type of science stuff to get her degree. They were talking about the dominant and the recessive genes, the black in the hair, and man, all that was confirmed by the lessons. God, I said, oh, this is real. This is real. Like this is deep.
So I can see that, like, you know what I mean? Because I think knowledge of self actually start when you start reflecting internally. I think everything else is just a manifestation of that. So this brother, you said, he seen first that book is now Cypher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Pen Black, that's the author name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, you know what I mean? He just took a bunch of stuff and tried to eat with, but that's a whole nother story. That's why it's imperative for true and livings to right, which they are right, in supreme understanding. You got Sunez, you got Star Mel, you got myself, and because it's imperative, right? Because a lot of people will come in the name, but they don't really be us. Like, somebody selling another book online with a flag with the man, woman, and child. It's like 37 pages. Half the alphabet is missing. We don't even sell degrees, so that's just that's already now cipher, right? But getting back to you, right? So how did you actually get the degrees?
Well, at the class he was, you know what I mean? He was a guy. So, you know what I mean? He gave, you know what I mean? But here's a good thing about with him. I didn't just get to come in and say, oh, I heard you the truth. Give me 120. He made me study. Like, he gave me like Frederick Engels and Karl Marx and, you know what I mean? What's the dude? Paul Richard and, you know what I mean? Things with anthropology and all that. Then he gave me 120. You feel what I'm saying? Had to memorize, quote. You know what I'm saying? Mathematics, alphabet. But I'm not gonna lie, we started with mathematics, alphabet, because me being from the West Coast, I ain't never been exposed to that. So I didn't even understand what they were saying at first. You feel me? So
Yeah,
from there, went to degrees. But then after that, for me personally, it was teaching the 120 over and over and getting my own fruit that really helped to bring an understanding. And I felt that with me, that I understand that in prison, you can slow it down and it's better. But in prison, you don't have no temptation. In prison, you don't have no freedom. Your dome's not free. So for me, mathematically, you can't culture it in prison. You feel what I'm saying? So when I got out, I went out my way to make sure I linked up with the guys in the Freedom Cipher and really, you feel what I'm saying, show and prove and get locked in. So you know what I'm saying? So when I met up with, the guys that love Allah, and even Supreme Understanding Allah, even though he's from Allah Garden, from saying he was out here, that's when they tapped me in with Allah Dominant. And I went to D Mecca and started all over again. Not saying started from scratch. You already knowledge what you knowledge, but you feel what I'm saying? Like, I was humble enough to really lock it in again, because my whole thing was, like I said, you can't really culture it in prison. You can only go so far with your understanding. Have you ever seen a guy? You feel what I'm saying? You might have seen a guy on the yard saying, yeah, watch out, don't do that or whatever. That's not, you know what I mean? That's not building. That's not, we God for real. You feel me? So
yeah,
in the Freedom Cipher, you're gonna really see what a God does in the midst of, you know what I mean, in the pits of hell. Because we grave diggers, you feel what I'm saying? So it's about digging up in that grave and digging out our dead ones. So you guys see what a guy really on out here. He might fall back into the cipher of the devilishment. I know I had a moment where I first got out, and the only people I knew was a fellow 85ers that I knew before I went into you know what I mean, into the belly.
So how did you get out that cipher? Because you said, you fell back into it. How did you get out of it?
Like just being sincere with self, like self-saver, you know what I mean? Basically, I never got rid of the routine. And that's the beauty of us having supreme mathematics. I've been exposed to enough other schools of thought to know that we're the only school of thought that's you have to stay on your mathematics. Meaning that it doesn't mean you gotta be perfect. It means that if you fall off your mathematics, you already have a path to return to. You know what I'm saying? So even me just knowing the date and say, today's mathematics, wisdom, knowledge, I can go into talk about wisdom and knowledge. I can go to wisdom knowledge degree to 1 through 36. I can go to wisdom knowledge degree to 1 through 4. I could build, right? From that, I could build not only just proving to myself I'm fly and I can quote. I can teach somebody something. I could go online instead of me just putting some random stuff. What's cracking today? I don't know. It's a structure. It's a movement to my life. It's a pattern. It's a pattern. It's a science to everything in life. That's self. You feel what I'm saying? So the way I got out of that was I never lost that routine. That was the only reason why, of all the different schools of thought I've been exposed to on the West Coast and in prison, and that was the only thing that stuck to me was, you know what I mean? That's why I went through with the 120. That's why I read all those books, because I understood that this was something that I could actually build with myself. You feel what I'm saying? It wasn't about nobody's opinion. It wasn't about whether it was right or wrong. I could even prove it wrong. I heard guys saying, nah, Cypher, I see it like this. Da, da, da. Elijah meant this. That. So I'm like, okay, I'm scientific. I'm a nerd deep at heart. So I like that. I like being able to break things down and go into it, the highest degree of it, and draw it all the way up. You feel me? So to answer your question directly, it's just like working out. By me having the power to build, I could use that. So I always still on Fridays when I got my check, make sure I sent some stuff into my fruit that was in prison still. Make sure I tried to get some more fruit. God, even when I was in the trap spot, I ain't ashamed to say it now. Even when I was in the trap spot chopping up, I'll be trying to teach one of the niggas I'm giving. You know what I mean? I always tried to maintain that element. I always did maintain that element. You feel what I'm saying? And I just naturally grew out of that because that wasn't what I was about.
I feel you that. So I'm gonna ask. So somebody put in the chat. I don't know if you can see it on yours, but somebody said, "Peace." What's the God righteous name again?
King El Allah.
So Mr. Green G1001, he just told you King El Allah. Somebody else asked, Crip Jesus, what's your culture and what flag you under?
What's my culture and what flag I'm under?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Let me see.
the flag I'm under is the universal flag. And my culture is the culture of our God. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if he means that in like a street literal way. On the west side, the part of LA I was raised in is as far as with the numbers, is the 40s. You feel what I'm saying? I guess obviously with the Crip, that's the blue rag. But like I said, I'm under the universal flag. And the beauty with me is that everybody's aware of this. It's not something where it's like Crip Jesus and I'm secretly study or I do podcasts with you or none of that. I think even in the year that we've been discussing it, you got to observe me and see what I was really on, what type of time I was on. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, you came with some literature. You know what I mean? He's teaching. I'm watching them build with earths, with whizzes. You know what I mean? I'm seeing them deal with seeds, all that. Okay, yeah. So this is just like my story. Like I said, why is the devil settled, in the best part of planet Earth? You know what I mean? Because Earth belongs to the original black man, knowing the devil's weak and wicked. He put him out in the worst part, kept the best part preserved for himself ever since he made it. So Crip is my worst part, and Jesus is the best part. You feel what I'm saying? That's really all it's about.
So how are you receptive back in your homeland?
It's a mixed review, just like the name suggests. You got those who want Crip to be negative. They feel like that's where the dominance in it lays, and it is negative. So you got those that feel like, why are you even talking about that? We don't want to hear about that. What are you on? Then you got those who understand it, that get it, that feel like, they're the same thing, that, you know what I mean, that's their journey as well. and they love it. It's just a multitude of receptions. But I will tell you this though, the beauty of it is I made this. I always said I'm up against MK Ultra. MK Ultra does this to us in reverse. They'll slip something on you. You know, they'll juxtapose some names or make something interesting to slide some devilishment on you. I'm doing it to slide all righteousness. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of people may come to me to diss or to be like, what is this talk about? Or to observe some gang stuff, and they still end up learning. You feel me? That's why I say the black Illuminati. A lot of us don't believe that. We think about the Illuminati, who's putting this stuff in the Disney show with our kids. They don't believe that there's people on the opposite end that's doing the, for righteousness. You feel what I'm saying? It's those of us that's making sure that there's a rapper named Rakim or KRS-One, or making sure that Erykah Badu slips that one song in there on and on. Make sure that Wu-Tang is dropped in 97. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing I did with the Blue Bible. Because that's what made the name make sense. It was just Crip Jesus. Okay, but what? Author of the Blue Bible. You feel what I'm saying? This is where you get lessons brought to life. If you ask me, you feel what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, like you said, we don't sell degrees. So this is just the story of somebody in Love Allah living it out. You feel what I'm saying? Walking and talking it. Arm, leg, arm, head.
So somebody, I'm gonna put this question up. Somebody said, I heard you once build on Mecca means commit spelled backwards. Can you explain? People paying attention to you, God. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Let me grab my board. I'm so glad he did that. That's beautiful. Let's get it. So, well, brother, if you really want to tap in, get your copy of the Blue Bible, because it's a science to it, but it's also a spirit to it. Because I'm talking about okay, so let's go to it. About who these followers of Jesus really are and how they try to divide us with the Christianity Muslim thing and really the history of ourselves. So page 43 of the Blue Bible, I say the Roman Emperor Constantine and the Roman Empire were not followers of Jesus. They hated Jesus, his followers, and all of their teachings. Emperor Julian banned them. Eventually, Constantine created Christianity to replace them. Page 44 of the Blue Bible. Jesus' followers were resurrecting the state of Mecca. Afrocentrists call it Kemet because the devils taught them to read from left to right as Ka-met. However, God's people read and write from right to left. We call the Holy Lands Mecca, which is Mecca, right? Now, even right here on page 78, oh, no. On page 98 of the Blue Bible. Like I said, history is his story. Mystery is my story, right? So Black Mystery Month. When Jesus' family fled to Egypt, the people that hid them were members of society known as the Coptics. They referred to themselves as Rim Kimni, people of Kimni. Kemet is an ancient name for Egypt. Before the original people were taught to read from left to right, we naturally read from right to left. In this way, Kemet becomes Mecca. So check this out. You got Ma-ka, right? Now they translate it as Mecca, but it's Ma-ka. This is the same thing as Ka-met, because this is where you get Kimmy from. So the Ma-ka, right? The Ka-met, it's where you get Kimmy, right? Chemical, alchemy, right? Now, let's go the other way with that. You'll get the Ka-ma, Ki, Mi, Ki, Ma-ka. Ka, me, ka, ma, like the motherland, like all, you feel what I'm saying? What do you say though?
Yeah, he texting. So somebody said, where can they get the book from?
Go to cripjesus.com. You know, I had the other link where you can just hit it, but that's down right now. So right now, for all the rest of this month, which is only God days left, you come straight to the site, get it directly from me. It's Black Mystery Month, not History Month. You know what I mean? Only $20. I'm just gonna throw the little shipping in there for you too, but it's all good. Come tap in with the God, the Blue Bible. CripJesus.com, CRIPJESUS.com. You can see me with the guys there too. Me with Allah, you Allah, Allah Dominant is in there. You know what I mean? G Body. We got Almighty Allah. He up there. Tap in. Feel me?
So let me ask you this, right? So what was it like when you came to Mecca to pay homage? When you was in Sunez's class you was in Sunez's class
Yeah,
that
where's
night.
Bond?
Yeah.
Dark Kim was hosting it that night.
Well, Dog
But
Kim, excuse me.
but
Yeah.
I've been there with Sunez before though too. So the first time I came was before we did that filming. That's what was cool about it. And I don't know if you noticed in the film, he's like, I met y'all brothers before. Yeah, you from Wooty Woo. He says that. So we had been up there before that. The first time I went up there, it's a funny story because, you know, some of the guys in Now Why, you know, had a funny history with some of the guys from Love Allah. It was kind of like, you know, a little different. So when I first went there, the guys that was with me, they didn't let me know that they was setting me up a little bit. Like they was like, we be down there, guys. Just go to the I can't remember the details, but they had me because I went out there so many times after this. But the first time they had me land in New York and they wasn't right there to grab me right away. And so they was like, meet me at the school. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Think I got bags and all that? They like, man, just meet us at the school. So I get to the school and I'm in there with, you know what I mean, old guys and all that big building. You feel what I'm saying? With the guys on my own. And then they pull up. By the time they pull up, I'm already damn near for the teacher class because they just on some like, you really from LA? Or you call yourself Crip Jesus? What? Because I had to sign all that. So, but they like, you kind of get what I'm saying? Like at first I was trying to pull up with them. They already got relationships, been around Wisdom Sight for years. You know, how most of the young guys do. You know, you get the co-signer walk in. They like, nah, we're going to have him go up in there on his own, see if he can hold his own. Then we're going to roll up. You feel what I'm saying? By the time they got there, he's like, that's right. And as far as I'm talking about the funny relationships, a lot of the guys was feeling them after they met me and seeing like, okay, this is what y'all doing with the knowledge. I respect it. You feel what I'm saying? Like we was worried y'all was out there just recruiting gang bangers. You seen different ciphers where that has been the result. But here's the thing though. Father Allah took the knowledge out the temple and gave it to the streets. We know the real story. Let's not be fake. So he taught us that this is our birthright. It doesn't matter if you in the devilish pit. This will either hopefully raise you out of it or still you're gonna know the truth. That's a fact.
That is a fact. You know, he gave it to the ones that nobody else wanted to teach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's very, very important. And in my professional life, you know, at different times on my professional stages, I worked with exclusively with system impacted young people, from being a mentor to a reentry coordinator, right? I don't work with them like I used to now because I deal with a public law firm, so my work changed. But when young clients come through, I connect with them on a level that other people can't connect with them, you know, because I understand it's like, because of my years of experience working with young people that's in the trenches, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's imperative that these young people can see older people that used to be young people that was in the trenches,
Yeah.
that, you know, turned themselves around as much as they going to.
I mean, and then just today's mathematics being wisdom knowledge, you know what I mean? Who's the founder of, you know what I mean, under like attract and like repel, right? So it's like that's the truth, guys. It's like people don't want to face it, but it's like I'm just not scared to roll up my sleeves and get dirty. I'll take those slaps, those punches, those denials, those rejections, even from the gods, and get crucified. So the people that need the most to get it. By calling myself Crip Jesus, God, it might be a blood dude who'd be like, "What? Get that crap out of here!" But just because his curiosity sparked now, like, what? You know, the dude that would never look at this type of stuff. Now we got him looking at it. And as long as I explained it correctly, if I'm coming from some type of angle where it caught him, I've got those phone calls like, man, you got me, bro. Like, damn. You know what I mean? So that's what it's really about. It ain't about me trying to fit in or me worried about what everybody think. It's about me using my experience and my reality to be the piece with the magnetic, you know what I mean, for the Aelites, like you said. And I really, really want to give gratitude and appreciation for you doing this for me. You feel me?
So when we all, I see. At one time, I was Supreme Understanding. It's a book hood from the what is called. Damn, we used to have that in there. We
The
used to get
Hood Health book.
not the hood health, the ones before the first ones.
Or How to Hustle and Win.
How to Hustle and Win, right? The first one was How to Hustle and Win. The other one was actually Hip Hop Something Revolution, which was a fatigue cover book. Then he changed that to How to Hustle and Win too. But when we was on certain compounds, when we give that book to young cats that never read before, we know the title was going to catch them, and we know we tricking them to begin with, right?
Yeah,
so,
come on, God.
so when we give them those books to read, they read it from cover to cover, right? So you have to learn how to put the medicine in a way that people can digest it. And I heard what's that young dude? Kodiak Black. If I'm
Yeah,
saying his
Kodak
name
Black,
wrong.
exactly.
Yeah,
He's promoting Supreme Understanding.
he mentioned that book. Said he thought
Mm-hmm.
it was some urban fiction or something. And when
Mm-hmm.
he read it, he said, "Wow, they tricked me." So even a young cast like that can fall into
That's a
knowledge
fact.
how we present. Sometimes we got to come with certain packages, and
Come
you know
on.
what? Sometimes you're not going to be understood in your day and time, but that doesn't mean you don't do the work.
Where's bond, God?
So and I look at it like that. But what was your motivating factor to say, hey, I'm gonna write a book. Now I'm coming at you from the author perspective now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Because writing a book is not an easy task, promoting it, especially now when people got 1,000 free channels. That's without YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and whatever else they got, right? So what motivated you to sit down and say, hey, I'm going to write this book. This is the story that I'm going to tell.
This the real truth, God. And not even to sound spooky, but it's like everything went up to this moment in perfect divine mathematical order. This is the real factual truth. I can look back with clarity right now and know that, you know what I mean, the original man searched for that mystery God for trillions of years. He decided that's the Son of Man. What gave me the inspiration, the God that inspired me, that walked the path for me, was myself. When I was a little boy, God, and I was reading and writing before I got dirtied up and corrupted and let all the, you know what I mean, and got my cipher stuck at equality, right? You got that knowledge of self. I wanted to write already. I would write little stories and make little covers at home and all that. And I let, you know what I mean, being in South Central around other kids that was finna be gangbangers and shit like that, deter me from that. You know what I'm saying? I even got teased for that. So going to prison, where that's cool now to fit in, I wrote a lot. I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna put a book out. I never took it from knowledge to born. So now when I was on the street and I was actually living out a lot of the stuff that kind of formulated what ended up being the book, I ended up getting incarcerated in Pennsylvania. And that's when I wrote what would become the book. I got out, and when I did that interview with on No Jumper with Adam 22, when I left, I looked his name up and found out last name was Grand Mason. I said, nah. I see him do an interview. He said, oh, it just means I'm French. It's just a French. I said, nah. And I looked that up and seeing the conclusion I got with that, I took what I had already wrote. He said, it's like the Quran or something, bro. This is like the continuance of, the sciences from before, you know what I mean, dealing with the Nagas. I'm all of that, you know what I mean? Me finding out I'm Gullah Geechee and showing how my family got over here in Cali and how I'm a 5%er, how that got over here to Cali and in the prisons. And you know what I'm saying? I felt like at that moment, I was literally the continuation of the lessons, you know what I'm saying? It was imperative that I wrote down the story. It wasn't just my story anymore. You know what I mean? This is part of Supreme Understanding story. This is part of the Allah-Dominant story. You feel me?
That's a fact. That's a fact, G. So in the book, like, what do you feel like is the most prominent theme that you're trying to share with the people?
That it's no spook. You know what I mean? The guy we searching for is us. And that's not a new message. It's more like I'm showing us that it's right in our face still. You know what I mean? We're still looking for a spook, and it's already right there. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that now that the sciences and all the knowledge is being revealed, and we got Google and all of that, we're still looking for the imaginary fairy tale, and it's really just dead plain and simple. So even with the Crip chapter, I talk about how, I didn't know no Raymond. I wasn't talking about no Raymond Washington. I wasn't talking about no, community revolution and progress. So when you out of town and you getting these lessons and they telling you, yeah, Crip was started like this and Raymond Washington that, you being fed a fairy tale that's trying to indoctrinate you into some devilishment. Same thing we go through in Christianity. Same thing we go through with Islam. I'm saying there's new religions out here. There's new poisons out here. And I'm just addressing all of that and remind them that the plain and simple answer is the black man's God, his proper name is Allah. Even with me learning about the Gullah, I break down how that goes back. If you stop, lock yourself in a box, that goes back to Europe, the Gaul, the Gaelic, Africa, the Gala, the Gola, the Bible, and Goliath, the original. You know what I'm saying? And the G is guttural, it's Greek. With Jala, Ja-Allah, we literally Allah. Man, I told Poetic Flacco that in the interview. He said, that's my last name, Jala. He just needless to say, he never released the interview. This is when I knew I had to write the book, guy. I said, it's too much going on. That you feel what I'm saying? I damn near had to write the book just because that Grand Mason thing. You know what I mean? I had to make sure I get this information out there, guy. And now, why a book? Like you said, so many channels. Because it goes back to the first degree in the 1 through 14, my best part. I had to be real with myself, God. I got channel. I got music. I got all that. It don't seem like that's where the best part was. Every time I even mention I'm going to write a book, people are like, what? A book? Oh, yes. Crip Jesus. Yes, 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 man. Even the people that knew me before Crip Jesus, they like, oh, we've been waiting for this. You feel me? God, I gave, I don't really got the greatest relationship with my father. I gave him a copy of that book. He was like, man, I feel like I know you better now through the book than in real life. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's deep. I ran into my somebody that my mother, you know what I mean? God bless the dead, was married to, my old step pops. Gave him a copy. He hit me up. Man, this who you are now is incredible, man. This is crazy. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot to the story, you know what I mean? Because they was more blown away by the knowledge that's in there, the information, not just my story, but they was like, man, this information right here, like, this is incredible. This is crazy. Like, you feel me? Because right in our face, I'm talking about the BPS stones. I'm talking about, the names that you see amongst the so-called Bloods and Crips and the Vice Lords and GDs, to Jeff Fort, his connection with Gaddafi, you feel what I'm saying? The gods that really got the last name Allah, and you know what I mean? What they believe is what I've learned out there in Detroit with them about the Nagas and the Negas and how that's real, how they Selassie, the Negas of all Negas, the Negas Nagas, the Keeper Nagas, the book. You feel what I'm saying? I talk about Adam being Grand Mason and them being related between the war scientists that taught Napoleon to shoot the nose off the Sphinx, and that was a celebration between the American Revolution and the French Revolution. Was really them taking away our rights and our land rights because we was imperial, you know what I mean? We was the ones that was fooled by the devil. Can the devil fool a Muslim? Not nowadays. You mean to say he fooled them 379 years ago? Yeah. They're talking about the original 17 million of North America right here. You know what I'm saying? So even all that more science stuff they talking about, we been had all that, God. We been had all that. You know what I'm saying? The 120 covered all that. You feel me? So I just get to breaking all that down, like how through the 120 I was able to get friends from all walks of life, as it says in Supreme Wisdom. You feel me?
That's like, so you from Cali. So where you rest at? D Mecca now, or you back in Cali?
I'm back in Cali. I'm back in Cali.
Okay. But you was out in D Mecca for.
Man, I'm honorary D Mecca. They love me. The homies in Cali was calling me. That's a Detroit homie, kid. That's a Detroit homie. Yeah, I was, yeah. D
So
Mecca,
what? So
D
do you
Mecca, D
go ahead?
Mecca made me a man, man. D Mecca, that's the first time I had to really live in the snow. You know what I mean? Help a nigga build a car and all that type of shit.
I forgot y'all don't get snow out there. But
Yeah, you feel me?
so like when you look at the different ciphers and the different locations that you travel, like what are the similarities that stick out, and what are the differences that stick out?
Say it again, guy.
From all the different ciphers that you travel regionally throughout the states of the United States, with inside of our culture, because you was out in Cali. I know it's a cipher out there. You
Hmm.
was in D Mecca hard, and then you traveled to New York a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah. I've
So
been there. Yeah.
what do you see that's similar across each cipher, and what do you see the differences are?
So, so Love Allah and Now Why, right? LA and New York. This was so funny about them. They're just the same, I swear to God, right? They're just like this Hollywood type shit. And it's like, you know, when you in Love Allah, you damn near think the guys out here is the Now Why guys. The way they get the acting and talking, because they trying to like put it on more. You know, it's like this Hollywood type shit. Then you go out there, it's like yeah, my uncle was, God, they trying to act this certain way, you know what I mean? I don't know, get they all hip hoppy and all that. Like, that's shit cool. I'm not really here for that. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the thing I noticed with those ciphers is that a lot of times the guys are exactly how they cipher is. So you go down to Allah's garden and they like, you know what I mean, they guys, but they got they jigger finesser type side. You feel what I'm saying? Then you go to D Mecca. I'm gonna keep it real. To me, that's why I say in the book, I don't even just go off of the cipher or just even us as 5%ers, but I say in the book, Dearborn ain't nowhere closer to Islam than Dearborn, bro. That's where I saw like all Arabs, everything was halal, all the women covered up, and the guys there ain't playing, bro. They be building tough. Shout out to Minister Freedom Allah. Shout out to the guy, you know what I mean. The guys there ain't playing, bro. It's a cold cipher out there, and I see that's where Allah dominated. Even though he from out here, that's where he rests his head. That's even Jay Electronica. You see him running around Nation of Islam, trying to fool the masses and make them think nah. He got that flag on that he learned from the guys in D Mecca. Guy, you know what I mean? The guys in D Mecca is serious out here. Like they out here big teaching, bro, for real.
That's peace. So somebody just asked, you got a little technical difficulty. Your camera went out. Bing, he back. So Bright Mecca asks, peace, pardon if I miss your explanation, but how did you come up with the name Crip Jesus? Was it just because of the area you reside in, or are you considering yourself a prophet of sort?
Uh, yes, the prophet, the author of the Blue Bible, and to give you a direct answer, something that you can actually go Google and really dig into. Page 3 of the Blue Bible, chapter 1, Crip. I was given the name Crip Jesus in Detroit, Michigan. The first name Crip represents my life in Los Angeles as a member of a gang created by Raymond Washington in 1969. The last name Jesus represents my bloodline as a descendant of the lost tribe of Jesus, Beni Amran, known as Amarna, the 18th dynasty of Egypt. We are divine. We are gods. That's how I set it up. And then from there, I break it down and then I draw it up again. That part.
Okay, that's that. So
Where's Bomb?
um out in hold up.
No, that's my bad. Go ahead.
So out in Cali, right? So like what like give us a picture of what the cipher looked like out there, because us, especially on the East Coast, like like whatever gang culture they got out here on the East Coast, it's not as prominent as far as structurally and culturally and decade wise as it is out there on the West Coast. Like so in New York, right, we always had crews or whatever the case, but we never just was beefing because you was from another crew. until like now. It's like when the gang culture hit, it changed New York somewhat, but it can't change it all the way because this still New York, and a lot of a lot of people don't get down with that gang stuff out here. So it's like, but out there, since it's like saturated, like it is what it is. Like, how where do the culture of the gods, the nation of gods of earth, fit in that out there?
Well, it almost doesn't fit in, and that's the cold part about it is, the tree I'm under. Like I said, I learned in prison all that. That's cool, but when I got out, I got down with a lot of dominant in that tree. So the tree I'm under, that I'm understanding generation. You know what I'm saying? It's not old like that. It's got here in the late '80s, early '90s. So uh, coming from now why like that, you gotta understand that we really just spreading. That's why sometimes I get my feelings with the guys. I be like, come on, because they gotta understand. It's like, God, me getting on no jumper or any of that. It's not about some clout. It's a chance for the nation to do the same thing Wu-Tang did in New York, to kind of slide in that little crevice, that little crack right there of the 85 that's really blind, deaf, and dumb, and really, get this introduced to even something as simple as they five senses. So when I say that, I mean like, okay, a lot of people have heard of certain different guys like, Planet Asia, the artists. You feel what I'm saying? Born, but the people I'm talking about are the ones that actually went to teach the gangbangers. I feel like that's what Father Allah did. I don't feel like, it doesn't matter what I feel. Mathematics show and prove that's what Father Allah did. He didn't go out and say, I'm going to teach gangbangers, let's gangbang in the name of Allah. No, he taught the worst. You feel what I'm saying? And showed them how to be the best. And from that, it spread to everybody. So Allah dominant, the reason Supreme Understanding of Allah linked me with Allah dominant is because he seen that's what I was doing even when I was still in the 85 world, God. When I was fresh out, because of the program I had in prison, I was still even in the most, even coming out the trap spot with a fur on, with chains on, living like that. You feel what I'm saying? I'll still go stop by the post office, God, with copies of, a lawsuit that's dealing with the science, or that's dealing with, us as Aboriginal Asiatics. And, I remember sending this to my fruit in prison. Like, I just couldn't stop. And they said, man, we see it in you, guys. Like, that's what you really are. You try to be the devil. You try to fit in with, that's where you come from, because it's saturated, like you said. So to me, that was proving my manhood, getting in trouble, being around the homies. I waited for, trillions of years to learn this mystery. I sat in prison for trillions of years trying to learn this mystery of being the gangbanger, the street nigga. It didn't matter if I had knowledge and all that. I never cultured it. You feel what I'm saying? So when I went to D Mecca and got to really culture it, that's when, you feel what I'm saying, knowledge was born.
Somebody asks, what's your relationship with the Crips? I guess they might have just came on late, but they still ask this question. What's your relationship with the Crips and Bloods? Are you making knowledge born to the 85ers?
Yeah, that's the whole reason of the name. If I was to be in LA just as King Allah, it's not saying that I wouldn't still be teaching the members of the gangs, but even with that type of name on the internet, it's a magnetic that attracts, thousands of people to come and learn the truth, learn the knowledge, learn the science. You feel what I'm saying? And it's not like I'm pranking nobody and trying to fool them and say, aha, you got fooled into the knowledge. That's my journey. That's me. That's the truth. That's the whole point of me writing the book, to show and prove that, I didn't make this up. This ain't fun and none of that. You feel what I'm saying?
So I guess you shook a little ruffle. Somebody, this is peace. This is freedom of law. Expound on what you mean by they are Hollywood and love of law. Not sure if you are saying they are trying to act like they are from now why, but if so, three of the firstborns of love of law that you met are from now why. It's not an act. I wasn't there when you made it to the love of law parliament, but I was told the first time you went there, some brothers thought you was pranking them. They were thrown off from the Crip Jesus name and didn't think you was serious.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show to what I was saying. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, Like you said, it's God the first. What I just say, God? Well, not to put you on the spot, like you got to answer that. But I'm saying, didn't I just say that even my tree, even my line, only go back wisdom generations before me? So the first guys are from now. Why? I'm not saying that. I'm saying the guys, even myself, God, when I come back from traveling, I talk different. When they hear me saying, "What up, God?" Whoop, whoop, and word is born, all that. That sounds New York to us in LA. They know that. Don't come on now. Don't make it the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's the truth. You know what I mean? I'm telling you the culture. You asked about the gang and how that rubs together. That's what you want to know. You want to be real. So out here, you feel what I'm saying? You do get people that feed into it. You do. You have guys that once they get a few mathematics degrees, people that may not even know the 120, that lean into that New York type of vibe and that magnetic. You feel what I'm saying? And the same thing in now why. You may have dudes that we call it trying to feed into it too much. I walk with the Father, and try to talk like they back then. You feel what I'm saying? Like you got dudes that kind of play into it. You see, of course I'm gonna say that because I feel like I don't. You dig what I'm saying? I get judged for being unorthodox or seeing the more dudes say Islam, because I look at it completely different. You see my sweater say the Black Illuminati. I see it as we have degrees. We have organizations and fraternities that are here to spread the light. The same way they got those that spread the dark. Same people that's putting Lil Nas X in his little outfit. We the ones on the other side getting Rakim to slide a lesson or a degree into a verse. You feel what I'm saying? I represent that other side. I'm just a piece in Cali. That's all. I'm the magnetic piece in Cali. You feel what I'm saying? That's it. So now let's be real. He talking about because I said they're Hollywood. Now let's be real, bro. I don't know this brother, so I don't know his life experience. But like I told you, D Mecca made me a man. And not to sound bougie, but yes, I look at LA people as Hollywood now. You know what I'm saying? I'm rough now. You know what I'm saying? D Mecca made me a gangster. You know what I'm saying? They got to be in the snow. You LA niggas ain't fucking with that. You know what I'm saying? I done been in Hurricane Island out in now why. You know what I'm saying? Really messing with what makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. It's all caused by the Son of Man. I can show and prove that now. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, so you know that, like, let me share this with you, right? So we can put a bigger parameter on the whole culture, right? Because the culture actually stretches from Canada to Cali to God's down in PR, DR, Colombia, Brazil, Spain, France, right? And I'm pretty sure some others, and Panama, I can't forget Panama, right? Culture down there, right? So it's going to be different demonstrations, right? So it's like, and New York is, that's the epic center of the nation. It is what it is, right? And it is what it is, right? So, but I think that's why, like, I don't know who created the regional process, but I think that was one of the most ingenious things that was created. You know what I mean? Hopefully, it could be more developed because I can't tell nobody down in another region how they need to demonstrate with this culture because technically I don't even think America is supposed to be one country, but that's just my personal thought. So you're gonna have, based off where you at, where you from, what the overall culture is like, that it's going to be different, right? And I don't, me personally, I don't see nothing wrong with that, right? I think that's what allows us to keep traveling, to keep spreading, to keep moving. It's like almost moving from a decentralization standpoint. This is why when all the people got attacked in the 60s, right? Not just the organizations fighting for civil rights or Black Power movement. You had people like the Young Lords. You even had groups, white groups like the SDS, the Weathermen. But you also had leaders in Africa and in South America, the different countries that got assassinated too during that decade of the 60s. So when we look at holistically what took place in that decade, it was a lot of shackles being thrown off of people minds and taking the double feet off their neck, right? But the reason why we still existed because we didn't have a centralized structure,
Mm.
right? So you killed, you assassinated Allah. All you did was like it's like a water balloon. You bust the water balloon, but the water goes everywhere. So whatever you thought that your objective was, it didn't work,
Mm.
right? Because what he said, we all are leaders, even though people misthink that means that there shouldn't be no leadership, which is that's a whole nother subject matter in itself. But we all got the ability to go somewhere else and teach, right? If you only know the 1 through 10, that's what you teach on, right? Because when you truly embrace this culture, it should be a transformation process. And I think that regardless of what people say or may disagree, I see the transformation in you. You say you did 14 joints. I'm pretty sure you went for slamming somebody, right? So it's like knowing that you came from a certain mentality and you took it upon yourself to develop and get out of that mentality to say, hey, I'm gonna be this person and I'm gonna go back into the trenches and share with the people that ain't gonna get this light, because I'm gonna be real with you, I ain't going there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, no, yeah. But see, my thing is
That's that. Like,
it was given to me there. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's not like I'm sitting here saying, man, I love, teaching everybody in the trenches. It's more like that's where I'm at, guy. Like I just got out of prison. You feel what I'm saying? Like so it's just really a beauty to say, like how Dark Kim said when I was in the class with him, no matter where you go, you never know who there got knowledge yourself. And that was the case with me a lot of times. Sometimes I was in the spot and I wasn't trying to present that side of me. It would just naturally come out. That was a natural progression. So once I got put on the screen, like it was a dude named Crumb TV. Shout out to Crumb TV. He started inviting me on his show a lot. So once I was up there, like damn near every other day, he was like, man, let me, let me drop this book, because they tuning in every other day. They want to read. They want something in their hand. You feel what I'm saying?
it's crump. Let me sidebar. So you be crumping?
Nah, Crumb TV. It was
I
called
know,
Crumb
but
TV.
I know that just
Yeah.
sparked your thought because I used to like watching them do the dance, the
Yeah, I ain't never
crumping.
did the crumpet. I know some crumpers though.
Yeah,
Shout out to my crumpers, my nigga Kane, all of
yeah,
them. You feel what I'm saying? Nah, I
yeah,
ain't never did the crump though.
yeah. That's like that's hip hop right there, man. Like
No, where's Bob? Yeah.
anytime I see like like that hip hop flavor, that real hip hop, pop locking, break dancing, DJing, graffiti, and like that joint just like just go through my blood, like you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean. So like people like you biased when it comes to today's generation. I said I'm not biased. I said hip hop, you got to think how when hip hop started, it started from nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you would have you saw the New York, you came to this New York. You didn't see
Yeah.
the New York that I grew up in. You didn't see it looked like Beirut in some of these neighborhoods that I came
Mm.
up in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So even where I'm at, like if you come where I'm at now, out here in Bushwick in Brooklyn, this is not the same Bushwick that I grew up in.
Yeah.
None of these stores that's on Broadway Avenue was there. They was all burnt down buildings, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of heroin before crack was out here. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So hip hop came from out of that. Hip hop came from out of people that had nothing that was creative and creatively was trying to stay alive. So when I see people doing like innovative stuff and it's
Mm-hmm.
still hip hop, it just like it warms my heart, man, because it's like I grew up in hip hop.
Mm.
If they said hip hop came out in '75, which that people can make an argument because graffiti was out before all of that stuff was out, but I was born in '75.
Yeah.
So so it's like
Exactly.
I'm the same age as hip hop.
Word
You
is
know what I
bond.
mean? So it's, I love that. Like I love our people, man. I love the energy of our people, man. And I think that to be God to the highest level, man, you sincerely gotta love a law of mathematics.
Word
And
is
doing
bond.
that, it's loving the people, man. Like, you know what I mean? Especially the next generation, right? Because the greatest technology we can ever have is children, not the AI, even though not none of this, not they little bombs and missiles they sending up in satellites, but the
Man, for
children,
real. Yeah.
right? So it's like, yo, how we can reach the children, that's the power in oneself. If you can reach people that's blind, deaf, and dumb and pull them out of a shadow grave, you know what I mean, and have them stand direct, that's beautiful, man. Like, you know what I mean? So
Word is
no
bond.
matter what you do, some people gonna love it, some people not, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the nature of life, right? But long as everything is respectful, man, because we all here for a reason, right? We all got to play our part. And I think that once we understand that we all playing a part to the whole, when we form, we form
Mm-hmm.
something greater. Like, you know what I mean? Something greater than our individual parts. And I think, yo, what you doing, man? I think that, yo, son, it's mad love and it's mad peace. So we gonna end on this note, and I'm
I
gonna let you
appreciate
take
that.
this out, man. Give a thought to the people, man.
Well, like I said, man, us being in the middle of February, you know what I mean, we always complaining about, man, they ain't letting us learn this and learn that. Let's stop complaining and take control. You know, history is his story. Mystery is my story. That's the real reason I wrote the book, to give him, not just to give him my story, but to reveal the mysteries. You feel what I'm saying? So tap in. You know what I'm saying? It's only a week left. It's God days left. Tap in, cripjesus.com. Get your copy of the Blue Bible. You feel what I'm saying? And, you know, understand that we make the Holy Bible a Quran. It don't start just like it never began. It's a cycle. This is just a piece of our 25,000 year history.
That's peace, peace. And I like to thank all of y'all for tuning in to Malah's Insight. You know, we're gonna have some great guests coming, different guests, and it's all about love, man. It's all about love, and love is the highest form of understanding, right? And I hope that y'all took the time to listen to the God, right? You know what I mean? Yes, his Crip Jesus, but that's King El Allah. So let
Word
us
is
not
bond.
let us not forget that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, we can look and say, hey, he just told you he started traveling in 2011, right? So physically, I'm pretty sure he's
Well,
under
no, I was still in prison in 2011, guy. That's when I first
2011.
got the knowledge itself.
So knowledge is self. So it's like everything matures. Everybody gotta develop, and everybody gotta do what's in their heart, man. Right? Because at the end of the day, to show and prove if you really have knowledge of self, it's going to show in your behavior, not in how many degrees you know, not in
Mm-hmm.
who you say you know, not in who your tree is, not in where you got knowledge of self,
Mm-hmm.
but what is your behavior? If I can't see you and see God, if I can't see you and see earth, then you just a nigga with an attribute and a hole with a head wrap. Straight
Word
up.
is bond.
And that's for that. And that's how we gonna leave everybody. We got love for y'all. Do what y'all need to do. Y'all got y'all marching orders. Be great. That's what they are.
Word is bond.
Peace.
Peace.